Hello there, it's Graeme here, Black73 Cat. Hope you're all well, guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to attempt my first ever video tutorial. Bit scared about this one. So I recently completed my first diorama of this beautiful very shabby looking British Gas transit van from Italeri. It was my first attempt at doing a diorama. I had done some fairly heavy weathering on stuff before, but this was the first time I'd really sort of pushed it out there and gone for that sort of abandoned scrap sort of look. And one of the things that I wanted to try and achieve was, when you see a vehicle that's been standing around for any length of time, it gets a build-up of moss. It certainly does in the UK. The moss just breeds along the window rubbers and in the drain gutters and all the rest of it. Anywhere where it can, really, you'll get moss growing on your vehicle, and it's quite small, but you know, it doesn't take all that long to build up either. So obviously, if the vehicle's been sitting there for quite some time, it's likely to have quite a lot of this moss on it. And that was something that I was struggling to get right. I was experimenting with various things such as flock and static grass and various pigments with paint and this kind. I just couldn't get the effect that I wanted, which, as you can see, in the end, I actually got pretty damn close to what I would consider to be realistic looking. So eventually I came up with a solution. After much messing around, many trials and tribulations, I came up with this. So hopefully I can show you how to do it as well, and you can achieve the same effect. Obviously this van's at 1/24 scale, but realistically, just by increasing the volume of this, you could scale this up to anything bigger if you wanted to, and obviously reducing it could scale it down. From what I can see, is a very flexible way of doing it. So we're going to use 3 products to do this. We're just going to use some Ultimate Modelling Products Algae Wash. We're going to use some MIG Ammo Nature Effects. We're going to use the Slimy Grime Dark and the Slimy Grime Light. Not necessarily both tones of this, but I just think the overall effect is a little bit better when using the mixed tones. Now then, this wash from UMP is fantastic stuff, but I'm not actually going to use it as a wash. What I've done is I've decanted, or poured, just knocked my camera there, sorry, is I've poured a little bit of the wash into the lid of a medicine cup. That's all it is. Just poured it in, left it, and before your very eyes, I can show you, when I start to break this up, if I just get my little pigmenting brush, you can see that I'm getting the clay and the pigment, which have just evaporated. The water's all evaporated away, and all I'm left with is lovely green clay pigment. Clay and pigment, should I say. And when you break it up, it turns into really fine, really high quality pigment. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I say, there's clay in there because it is a wash. It is from a wash, but that clay is actually going to work to our effect. You could probably do this with a standard pigment, because the actual the Nature Effects, the MIG Ammo products, will work as a binder. But I just find, when I was experimenting with this, I found that I got the best results from this, and I think it's possibly down to the clay, giving it just a bit of extra bulk and a bit of extra texture. So I've broken this down into fine powder. Okay, I'll use this brush again in a minute to apply the pigment, so I don't need to clean that off. So the way we do this is we use the Grime Effects, the Slimy Grime, which is obviously enamel-based washes, as a sort of pigment fixer, if you like, but also as a binding agent, and also to enhance the tones, or to vary the tones, should I say, would probably be a better way of describing it, within this green pigment. So give these two a little shake. There's quite a difference in colour, as you can see. So when you blend these two together, you get quite a nice bit of tone. Right, so I've just grabbed my old mule. This is the back end of an old Revell 1/72 scale Tornado, I think. So all I'm going to do is just take a brush and some of the dark first, and then we'll have some of the light afterwards. So we just need a little bit on a brush. I wouldn't normally plunge my brush that deep in, but anywhere where you could get moss built up. I mean, obviously this is an aircraft. On a vehicle it'd be different, but if you just allow it to, I'll bring that up so you can see it a bit better, just allow it to run into the groove. Be careful where you put it. I mean, obviously you could remove any excess that you spill out with some low odor mineral spirits, but actually by it running away a little bit can actually work to your advantage. I'll do quite a lot along this line. You could also put some above it. You can see it's tracking down there, and I'm not being too fussy about where it's going. I'll put another little bit along the top of here. Okay, so get rid of the dark one. Just wick that off onto a piece of kitchen towel. Then we'll come back with a light one. Don't necessarily have to wait until these are dry, because I find that the blending effect is actually better when you put these together wet. They do tend to sort of, the tones tend to be more natural, I think, and less contrived. So we'll run that along there like that. And then all we need to do now is just wait for that to dry. Sorry, I was going to say, all we need to do is wait for it to dry. No, we don't. That's exactly the opposite of what we want to do. We don't want it to dry at all. I'm going to put a little bit more dark on there. We want this to be very wet, because we're going to use this now as a pigment fixer. So a little bit more of the dark just to get that tone going. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now we come back with some of our stolen pigment. Just get a little bit on the brush, and while this is still wet, just very carefully tap it on. Try not to rub it on, because any excess you can just blow off, whereas obviously if you start rubbing it on, it's going to make an awful mess, but also you're going to start rubbing pigment into the paint around it. That's not necessarily a bad thing, depending on the effect you're trying to achieve. But maybe you need a bigger brush to do this. Need more pigment. Let's grab my bigger pigment fixing, pigment applying brush and get a good bit on the end of the brush there. Really get it picked up, and then that's it. That's better. And then as the pigment lands on the wash, it wicks up into it and immediately binds it, immediately fixes it to the surface. And the more you put on, the more of an effect you get. And just keep building it up until you're happy with how it looks. And put a little bit more of the wash on there, just a tiny bit, just to let that run along. And there you go, and that's now picking up all of that. Be very careful, because I don't want to rehydrate the pigment as such. I just want to fix it in place. That's all I want to do. And then once I can't get enough pigment picked up on this brush. Oh, that's it. Okay, so it looks quite messy at the minute, but obviously as this dries, it will settle down quite a lot. So we'll leave that to dry for a little while, and we'll come back and have a look and see what we think when it's all cleaned up. So this is almost dry now, as you can see, and you're starting to get the effect. What I've just been doing is with a very, if I can get this in shot, with a very soft brush, and with no pressure at all, I'm reaching around the camera to do this, just brush away any loose pigment. And really gently brush this away, because if you press too hard, you're going to risk binding the paint. I'm doing this onto a matte surface. I've got no gloss coat on here at all, because it binds better to the matte surface. So this is just I think this is actually what colour? Which paint? It's one of the Tamiya metallics, I think, which I was just playing around with some time ago. So if I just brush away all this excess, and you can see now as that's starting to dry, hopefully you can see we're starting to get the effect of moss building up. A bit more there, look, you see, if I can just very carefully, where's my brush gone? If I can very carefully get in there, we don't want that, because that looks odd. And then right in there, we could do with getting rid of that as well. So in which case I'm just pushing this up into the damp pigment, and then if I can get, I'm not sure if this is showing up too well on the camera. Is that focused? There you go. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a pretty good result, I think. Once it's completely dry, I'll clean it up a little bit more. I don't want a chance dislodging it, but once that's dry, I think that will look pretty damn good. So there you go. That's how I create scale moss. And that took a lot of messing around and a lot of a lot of trial and error, but the end result, I feel, is quite good. And you can see the various tones and stuff in there, which make it, just give it that little bit of extra realism. And obviously you can play around with that to your heart's content. You know, you could mix in, you could mix the two washes together. You could even, if you wanted to, with the algae wash, you could change the tone of that slightly by mixing it with some other pigments, or with some other evaporated washes. You could do quite a lot with this. My next plan is to try and create some rust effects using the same technique, which I think could work very, very well using the UMP rust wash and one of the many sort of rust effect weathering fluids, which I've got sitting up on the bench here. So yeah, hopefully that's given you something to go on. Once this is dry, I'll get some better pictures and I'll add those to the video at the end. And yeah, hopefully this has been some help to you, and you can use it on your future weathered, rusty, abandoned, scrappy builds and dioramas. So that's it. I promised you in my last video that I was going to do some actual modelling on this YouTube modelling channel, and yeah, that's my first video tutorial, which feels like quite a milestone. I've been threatening to do that for a long time, so it feels good to get my first one out the way. I do need to work on the camera a little bit. I know some of that's probably going to be well out of focus, but hopefully it's enough. I've got enough footage to at least do a good demonstration of the technique. Leave me a comment below if you've got any opinions on what I've done. I hope that the trial and error that I put into it can benefit you guys, and you can use it on your future builds going forward. So thanks very much for watching. obviously drop me a like, that's always appreciated, and any comments are always very, very welcome. Check out International Scale Modeler, as always, inscalemodeler.com on the web for the forum, and International Scale Modeler on Facebook. Come join us for our Friday night live show at 7:30 UK time on the International Scale Modeler channel. Obviously check out umpretail.com, ultimate modelling products for all your fantastic modelling-y type stuff. You can find me on Facebook at Black73Cat Scale Models. You can find me on Instagram at Black73Cat Scale Models, and you can find me on Twitter at Black73Cat should you so wish to contact me on there. I think that's about it for now. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will hopefully see you again very, very soon. Cheers now. Take care. Bye-bye.